Well, it's a very good morning from me. Welcome, everybody, to my mortgage live stream. So I hope you're well. Hope all is good with you. We've got a couple of sessions here for you today just to enhance your knowledge, refresh the parts that other beers cannot reach, all those good things. That's an old commercial from the old days, by the way. But hope all is good with you in the mortgage world, financial services world. Hope you're looking forward to the week ahead of you. Things are starting to move a bit more now, aren't they? Better sentiment in the marketplace. I think we'll wait and see what's going to happen this spring as well. Lots, of course, going across the channel, or the pond, I should say, with Mr. Trump and everything, and these tariffs. See what goes on with that. We'll wait and see, shall we? Anyway, enough of that. Let's get on to our first topic. I'm going to pick up on deposit accounts. Pretty straightforward topic, really, but one that you might want a few extra bits added to as well. But secondly, I want to take a look at who's in the investment marketplace. So again, if you're studying your CeMAP, that's a useful technique or useful topic for you. Then I've got a little skill thing called the art of on rapport, which might make you start thinking about how to build rapport with people. Other than that, we're live, we're on air. I'm going to head over to the whiteboard now and get on with our first topic, shall we? Let's just pop across here so we get our first topic going. Okay, this is one that I prepared earlier in good old Blue Peter fashion, deposit-based investments. Let's just give you a few minutes on these just to make sure everything's all fitted into one place for you as well. First of all, the question is why? Why do people want to have money on deposit? That's the first question to ask yourself. Well, there's 3 or 4 reasons why people should do it. First of all, it's for the short term. So if you're looking for investing your money in the short term, deposit accounts are ideal for you as well. You do earn interest, of course. That's the whole point behind it, unless you've got a current account that doesn't pay any interest, but then that's not really a deposit account, is it? The capital, of course, is safe. That's the key one. The capital itself is safe and secure because it's on the short term. And we do have the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, of course, which makes your capital secure. So there's some good reasons why people should. But why not is the next question. So let's just put a little why not in there for you. Why not is the next question to ask you. Well, there's a couple of reasons why you shouldn't put your money in deposit, really. And the first one, and the most important one, of course, is inflation. Now, inflation is always there. It's been up and down like a yo-yo last few years since the pandemic, but it does erode the value of money. So the real value of your deposits will decrease by inflation. Obviously, you're earning interest, so hopefully the interest counterfacts the inflation. But a lot of people like to spend their interest, don't they? But if the interest is added back in, you have a compounded effect, then inflation should be eroded. But again, the interest rate has to be more than the inflation, and that's not always possible. So where do you get your deposits from? Well, typically you get your deposits from banks and building societies. Now, banks and building societies, we know and love, we're very familiar with them. They are different types of organisation, of course. Let's just put my bank in there. Do you like that, do you? There's my picture of the bank. Banks and building societies are the most important providers of deposit accounts. Banks and building societies, banks are proprietary companies. They have shareholders. They report to their shareholders. They need to make profits. They have a bad name on that respect, but actually, when you think about it, when you get your judgment away from banks, they actually are there to make profits for their shareholders. So let's not forget that. Building societies are mutual organisations. They're there for their members. Therefore, they do make surplus or make profit. They put it back into surplus as well. But they provide deposit accounts, large amounts of them too. Now, a couple of things about building societies, if you're interested. In the 86 Act, which of course is a long time ago. I mean, I started in the sector in 83, so a long time ago, that one. They did have a rule where they could only pick up around about 50% of their borrowing from the wholesale money markets. Now, as you know, building societies, banks, they lend money on mortgages. Now, building societies are restricted. They can only get 50% of their borrowing from the wholesale markets. The rest of it had to come from retail. So they have to provide deposit accounts to customers. Now, in 2007, not a lot of people know this, the new act there increased that to 75%, but I don't think that's ever been enacted. It was brought in case of emergency, really, pretty much. The building societies have to provide deposits. Banks don't, but they do, and that's how they lend their money. Who else does it? Well, let's just put a few other people in there as well. Don't forget national savings and investments, part of the government's method of raising money to spend, national savings and investments, of course. You've got credit unions. We've got other videos on that one for you, which are small organisations. They offer deposits as well. So the main ones. So how do these work then? Well, let's just take a look at how these operate. And we'll take a look at the tax as well, just a bit of a picture for you. First of all, you have deposit accounts. So these organisations provide deposit accounts. Now, a deposit account is very different to a current account. A current account, as you know, is your bank account. That's who you have. It's where you pay your bills. You know, you've got your debit card and everything like that. It's on a dashboard, on an app, on a phone and everything. They don't always pay interest. In fact, very few of them do. Some do, particularly if they want to lure you into their business, their bank. But most current accounts don't pay, but deposit accounts do. They'll pay you interest. They'll pay you more if you want to have a notice account. In other words, you have to give notice to withdraw your money, which makes sense, isn't it? If you're a regular saver, for example, that's another way of getting a very good rate of return as well, particularly with building societies. So there's different types of deposit accounts as well. You can have large cash deposits from organisations, but that's not from the banks or the building societies. Naturally, these can all be wrapped in an ISA. Obviously, current account can't be, but deposit account can be wrapped in an ISA, and that's how we get a cash ISA, and that, of course, is tax-free as well. The other thing, of course, about the deposit accounts, you can have fixed interest or variable rates depending on the product they're getting. So that's just a bit of detail there for you. Now, let's talk about the tax dog. Have you heard that phrase before, the tax dog? I love the phrase. Let's draw a little poodle here for you, a little dog there for you, a big ear there for you. It's not a very good one, but there's my little doggy. He's got a little tail. Now, there's a phrase there, don't let the tax tail wag the dog, or something like that, which means that whenever you talk about products like this, we always have the tax implication. So how are these things taxed then? Let's just pick up on that topic for you. How are these things taxed? Well, first of all, interest is all payable gross. Now, one or two exceptions, but they're all payable gross, which means that you don't have tax deducted. But it is taxable. Don't forget that. It is taxable. It's not tax-free unless, of course, you have a cash ISA. But the majority of deposit accounts pay interest gross, but you are liable to pay the tax, and you must declare it. That's the whole point. If you've got some interest from the bank or building society, you must declare it, because you do have a little bit of an allowance. There's the personal savings allowance, which for most of us mere dues is £1,000 per annum. If you're a high rate taxpayer, it goes right down to £500 per annum. But that means you can earn £1,000 in interest without paying tax, which is great. But a lot of people that got 15 grand on deposit now, 20 grand on deposit, they'll earn themselves a bit more than £1,000 now with interest rates trickling upwards. So you must declare it in your self-assessment. Now, there is a starting band of tax, a starting band, which means that you can earn more interest and not pay income tax. That's for very low earners. We've got another video on that topic as well. A couple of final points for you, just sort of mix things up a little bit. You do receive interest on a few other products as well that you may not have come across, which is taxed in the same way. And there's three really to think about here. You've got annuities. Again, we've got another video on that one for you. An annuity is a payment from the insurance company for people that are retired typically. And an annuity is paid, and that's expressed as interest, so you're taxed in the same way. You might have a collective, like a unit trust or an OIC, and you might have those in fixed interest. And those pay interest again, and say most of them are in stocks and shares. Again, they pay dividends, but some of them will pay interest as well. And don't forget, of course, about government gilts. Gilts also pay interest as well, so they're taxed in the same way, although they're not strictly called deposit accounts, are they? Just to make things confusing. Do you like my dog? Do you? I hope you do, and I hope that's cleared up deposit accounts for you. Bye. Well done, well done. Okay, so there we have a short session there for you on deposits, just to update you, I suppose, keep you informed, keep your CPD up to speed. It's all good CPD at the end of the day, isn't it? Unless, of course, you're studying for your CeMAP, and that video, of course, goes into our boot camp, along with many others in the right structure for you as well. So I want to pop across now and do my second video today. So I'm going to use the same whiteboard. So let me just spend a moment or two just erasing this one for you, so that we get a copy of this one as well. So let's take a look at my next topic. Now, the next topic is designed for those of you in the mortgage world, particularly, who are getting some kind of referral set up so that you can refer your clients to financial advisors. You might wanting to become a financial advisor. I don't know what your plans are. But if you're thinking about getting some connections in the sector where you can refer your clients to financial advisors, then you might be a little bit mixed up with all the different people involved in the process. There's a lot of different dudes now involved in financial advising. So this video will clear that up for you. So this video is entitled "Who's in the Investment Market?" So who's in the investment marketplace? That's a big title, isn't it? Gosh, it took me a couple of minutes just to write the title up there for you, isn't it? So who's in the investment marketplace? Let's just take a look. So if we take a look at the market itself, the market for investments, of course, is huge, as very well known, and lucrative too if you're in the sector. There's loads of different types of people involved. Now, the first person you may come across, of course, is the IFA, the Independent Financial Advisor. Now, when I talk about IFAs, I am talking about people who are qualified financial advisors to give advice in market, in products and things. And these people are whole of market. They're able to look at the entire marketplace for the products as well. Now, the thing about IFAs is they give advice. That's what they do. And they charge for that in the form of fees. Or they might have funds under management fees. In other words, they might take fees from the funds that are invested. That's how a lot of financial advisors work. They also do many other aspects of financial planning for people. They can look at life insurance, they can look at estate planning, they look at all sorts of areas, a holistic approach as well, pension planning, retirement planning. That's the IFA. But they don't, they're not the only people in the market. Now, you've also got restricted advisors. Now, restricted advisors, it's an awful phrase, isn't it? It's designed to make them seem not very nice at all, really. But that's just a judgment call, isn't it? Now, restricted advisors are IFAs without the ability to go to the marketplace. They do the same job. They give advice. They're authorised by the FCA. Let's put the FCA in there for our IFA as well. So they are the same as the IFA, but they are restricted to one product provider's advice products. So there's a few examples. St James Place is a big one, isn't it? They're huge and very successful, but they have their own funds that they use. So they're not able to go onto the market. But other than that, they are pretty much the same as well. Who else we got? Let's get a different colour pen, get some variety here. Private bankers. I love that phrase, don't you? A private banker. You've got your own private banker. You've made it, haven't you? You've got your club in London and you've got a private banker of your own. Now, private bankers are more holistic. Now, they operate for clients, of course. They're more holistic. They do more kind of investment management. They don't necessarily give advice, though. They might well use an IFA to do the advice side of things. The private banker looks after the client. They're very good at tax structuring as well. So if you want your situations structured properly for tax purposes, they're very good at doing it. Obviously, some private bankers have IFAs within their firm, but some will refer on to the IFA to give the advice. That's private bankers. All rather lovely, isn't it? Who else we got then today? It's just a few of us here for you. Let's get into tech. Let's go down here for a robo-advisor. A robo-advisor. I think the phrase robo is a bit old-fashioned now. I think we call it AI now, don't we? Artificial intelligence is more software. These are systems, software, owned by companies, of course, that use algorithms, which are calculated methods of working out advice, etc., and investment management to give advice to customers. They use their own funds or different funds, but they're using computers and algos or algorithms in order to give that advice. There's no humans. No humans in here is the key one there. No humans. And that's fine if that's what you want. I mean, Nutmeg is a good example of a robo-advisor, which, is some people's cups of tea, isn't it? Now, robo-advisors can come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. You can just do your execution only. You can have advice or non-advice. That's something to think about as well. Let's put that down here as well, advice versus non-advice. Now, I have my own robo-advisor with Vanguard, which is an app, of course, but I can do my own execution-only business. I can decide where I invest my money, and they provide the funds, which is brilliant. So that's big business. Of course, you can get advice now from non-humans, and that's the thing. So that's worth putting that in there as well for you. We'll have a look at them all in a second or two, just to fit a few more in for you. Let's have a look at fund managers now. Now, what's a fund manager's job? Well, her job, or their job, because it's usually a team of people, is to analyse and manage pooled funds. So they look at pooled investments. They analyse, they do a lot of analysis of the market, They have pooled funds which they manage on behalf of clients. Obviously, the IFA will use fund managers in order to manage the money. That's the products that they use. They are active or passive. That's an important phrase to use. Might have come across it. This means that the fund itself is actively managed by people. It can be actively managed by computers as well, that's fine, but it's actually actively managed, and they move the shares and the stocks around according to their intuition and their research and analysis. It can be a passive fund. Now, passive funds aren't actually managed. They're looked after, but the algorithms actually just match a index. So take, for example, the USA, the NASDAQ had a bit of a hit last week with the new Chinese AI that came out. Now, that's a particular fund may well just track the NASDAQ, and it has to just copy what the NASDAQ does. It doesn't have any intuition or decisions. It just copies whatever the index it follows. That's the passive investing. Much cheaper to run. If you're going to have an active one and it's employing very expensive fund managers, that's why these things aren't cheap to run. So that's an example there for you. The FCA, of course, keeps an eye on these people. Don't forget that, of course, as well. You may have come across the phrase hedge fund. Now, a hedge fund is a fund management-based company with very professional people that like to run their own fund. And what they try and do with hedge funds is they try and hit a certain percentage increase in your money. But they do that by investing in shares and stocks, of course, but they also use a lot of derivatives. They look to hedge their investments. If one goes down, no one goes up. So they're very good at hedging. They use lots of futures and warrants and options and things like that. Quite risky in a certain sense, quite specialised, I think is probably a better word for it as well. So that's a hedge fund, which is quite an interesting one as well for you. That's your fund managers. Who else have I got then? Well, you may have come across the phrase a stockbroker. A bit old-fashioned now, isn't it? The stockbroker. Let's put that one in there. The stockbroker, when I first started off in financial services in the 1980s, these dudes used to wear striped shirts in a big marketplace. Buy, sell, have some of those. But nowadays, it's all automated. You have platforms now, of course, where people can buy and sell shares, stocks as well, of course. It's done online now. Of course, you don't need to go to a physical market anymore. You can have DIY stockbrokers. My Vanguard, for example, is a better example of that. BlackRock is another example as well. Hargreaves Lansdown. They all operate on execution only now, so you can decide. A good phrase to use, actually, the DIY investors via a stockbroking company with a platform, an app where you can do your execution only, decide what you want, what you don't want. Down here, the robo-advisor is more to give advice effectively rather than just let you take your orders. That's a good way of looking at it as well. Final do to put in there for you. Don't forget, you guys, if it is you guys as well, the mortgage and protection advisor. Here we go. I'll put there, mortgage and protection advisor. Protection. You're part of the marketplace, of course. Your job is to, what it is now, and you think about this, your job is to look at your clients holistically. So if you look at your clients holistically, in a holistic way, and you don't just laser in on the mortgage, mortgage. You start to look at all the other needs they have as well. Then you can maybe look at sort of the later life needs they have, all sorts of other areas, retirement, investments. And then what you do, and what you should do, is you refer your clients to an IFA, who of course will do the advice for your clients in the areas that you're not authorised to do so, because we've all got permissions, haven't we? The IFA, of course, will then use the fund managers in order to get the funds to invest. The IFA may use AI and robo-advising to help her in the job that she does as well. So the IFA will also use people. The IFA, of course, could also refer back to you, particularly if you're in the later life marketplace. The IFA might have a client who's got big pensions and stuff and a big property. They might not have thought about lending to people over the age of 50, which can free up money in certain ways. So get a conduit. That's all you need to do. Get some kind of conduit deals. You can pass fees over to each other if you wanted to. That's what you should do. And there we have my overview of who's in the investment market. Hope that's been interesting. Bye. Good. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope that was a good update for you, particularly on some of the AI stuff and the robo stuff that's coming through down the line. I mean, the execution only stuff, the platforms, Hargreaves Lansdown and Vanguards and BlackRock, a huge business area, that isn't it? It's gobbling up a lot of the business that IFAs would possibly want. But then IFAs tend to look at high net worth clients who haven't got the time to go and do it themselves and don't want to either. So you need to look at all those areas, really, don't you? Okay, let's finish off then, shall we? Let's get ourselves onto our roll here. Let's just pop across here, shall we? There we go. Now, let's move on then to my last session for today, which really is sort of a sales idea for you. That's what I want to do this time. I want to talk about some sales and communication skills, which is becoming even more important as time moves on. So this one's called The Art of On Rapport. On Rapport, of course, is the subject that we've got for you today. Now, I discovered rapport building in 1995 when I first studied NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, as a financial advisor, actually. I was blown away by how quickly you could create rapport with everyone you meet by matching and mirroring them. Since then, I've been practicing and teaching the art at every opportunity. When I meet people I want to get along with, I deliberately match their personality, their energy levels, their physiology, and body position. I mirror their voice, pace, and tone, as well as the amount of eye contact they give me, gestures when I speak, and my smile too. But some people are still skeptical. Now, rapport stems from the word en rapport. It's a British French adjective meaning harmony, sympathy, and accord. Now, one dictionary describes it as agreement or congenial. Another states it as a mutual understanding and harmonious relationship. Now, this just about describes what we do to create rapport. Now, I don't think anybody needs to be skeptical anymore. Great work. Well, I hope you enjoyed that last little technique there for you. Just makes you think about rapport. And if you're interested in finding out more about that, let me know. I'll see if we can do some more work on that one for you, because it's a really, really key area for most people as well. Well, we're going to finish off, as always, by taking a look at our little hub, so you can get yourself on the hub. So let's just kick over here so you can see that. So you can see the Mortgage Advisor Development Hub. Get yourself QR coded onto that one. We write to you every Monday and Sunday with articles and insights and all sorts of great things as well. Other than that, I hope you have let's just pop in and say hello to you. Other than get out of the way of the QR code. So other than that, I hope you have a fantastic week and enjoy yourselves, guys, won't you? Have a good week. Enjoy what you get up to, and I'll be catching you again next week. Bye for now.